Hey, what's up you guys? My name is Wolf, and welcome back to LEGO Arts. So in the last episode, we did a showcase on Star Wars, the prequel trilogy. Now this episode, we are going to continue on with doing another Star Wars showcase on the original trilogy. So for our characters, we have Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia, Han Solo, Chewbacca, and Darth Vader. I was working around this around the same time that I was making modifications to the prequel trilogy, but this one took a bit longer. Specifically, like certain characters I ordered a while back, and one of them recently came in, and was actually one of the reasons why I kept pushing this off for so long, and I kept pushing it off for quite a while. But once the character arrived, I was able to finally put the finishing touches to it, and finally get around to doing this showcase, and I'm pretty satisfied with the overall results. I think all these look really, really cool. Now, as you guys know the drill, we're going to take some minifigures one at a time, do review them, explain the process, why there's routes, and then go from there. So without further ado, let's get the pistol out and get the showcase on the road. So to start us off, of course, we have Luke Skywalker. This was one of the first ones that I got done for this showcase, as I had a pretty straightforward plan with it. So the base figure is based off of his appearance in The Mandalorian Season 2, as I really liked the overall design for it, and felt that it was a pretty good design to create for Luke's appearance. So that was the base figure. His lightsaber hilt is, of course, done by Natesminifigs, with this dark green lightsaber blade that's similarly with Obi-Wan and Anakin's lightsabers. I wanted a more accurate colorization instead of the super pale lime green lightsaber blade that is done nowadays. I found this really cool one. That's it's still a little bit of a light green, but it's much darker and more solid than the other one, and it really makes it look good. So I really like the overall design for it. We could go ahead and well, I guess, first off, remove the hairpiece for 1 second, so we could see the facial expression for Luke. So on one side, we got sort of his, casual smirk, and then, on the back, we got his more serious and determined look. Which I think is really, really cool. Really cool. And we could go ahead and remove the head for a quick second. The fabric cape is pretty much one of LEGO's original fabric capes before they swapped to the one whole cape. And the Jedi robes done by Minifigs 1078. Basically the same one, but this one definitely had more sanding onto it, especially on the front and back. As I tried to match it up more accurately with Luke's general appearance onto it, and as well as a little bit of detailing on the back. We could go ahead and remove and get a closer look underneath with the robes underneath. You can also see where I tried to do some of my own paint detailing on the sides with where the pants and the boots would line up, with the official figure. Not quite exactly how I was hoping for it to go down, but close enough. All right, let's go ahead and bring back with the cape, so we could go ahead and show the rest of the figure. This one was a little bit flimsy, and there we go. So for the rest of the figure, as a bonus piece that came with the figure, the hairpiece was not included on this one. It did come with this Jedi hood, and with this new hood that I actually modified a little bit, so you could see I sculpted on sort of an extension to the hood to really have him cover it up, just like in The Mandalorian when he's in the full cloak, and I think it looks really, really cool. Definitely matches up more with the general appearance. The new hoods, I don't mind them too much. But I definitely like the more extended length in some of them to really give off the look. And then finally with his hairpiece, I got the inspiration of this with a couple of custom designs of prints of how Luke's hair would go. First I thought about just using the standard Lego hairpiece that's been used for this version of Luke, but decided to expand more on it with using this hairpiece that's from Emmett's from the Lego movie. That I took this hairpiece, I sanded off the little cowlicks at the back, completely removed them. You can even see some of the sanding in there, and then sort of painted up my own light brownish brown coloration into it, and unintentionally it kind of matches up with the eyebrows itself, which I didn't know that until I had finished painting it on, and it accurately fits well with the figure, and I really liked it, and I liked the overall idea with it. So it is pretty straightforward. At first I thought about trying to see if I could get a separate torso altogether of his other outfits in Return of the Jedi. I think it was the one on the Death Star. Not 100% sure. He has like 3 different depictions of it into bits. But apart from that, but outside of that, just having the whole thing together, it looks really, really cool. Like, it's pretty straightforward, but the results of it are very satisfying, and I do like it. Next up with the Skywalker family is Princess Leia. Not gonna lie, this one was kind of a last-minute decision on how to customize it, because the base figure is based off of her outfit in A New Hope. But I felt that like this one is one of her more iconic outfits. Only other one that I would have gone with would be her Hoth jacket, but I couldn't find a good base minifigure for that. And I found this one when I was doing one of my Comic-Con trips and decided, oh, let's go ahead in this one. But last minute customization was literally the skirt piece. So the overall figure is kind of a knockoff, while at the same time being just a regular figure itself. The custom blaster I got from a weapons pack a while ago and just had it in a bin and figured like, that's a good one. And it'll fit perfectly. I believe the head was actually part of a different Princess Leia minifigure. And I figured that I swapped out because the base one for this one, it was either misprinted or I just didn't agree with the expression and felt that like, oh, let's switch it out. And this one looks so much better than the original one. Let's see if we can go ahead. There we go. And I believe there's a double face head, so we could get the neutral kind of bored expression while having the confident, determined expression. Either way, really suits well for Princess Leia and the custom piece underneath is of course like this skirt, and a skirt piece that is actually done with electric tape that I recently got, primarily used for the God of War Ragnarok showcase, which I'll talk about that in the future. To explain with that process. But it was literally a last minute decision as I kept looking at the figure and felt like there could be more customization to do with it. So I took some electric tape, cut around it, glued it on as the whole skirt, and keep calling it a skirt. Basically, the whole thing together is pretty much a dress. But added all this together, included in some of the detailing of like some of the wrinkles into it, and it actually looks pretty good. Like, it's not 100% a custom, but it still passes off as a pretty good half custom, and I still like it because it still matches up with the overall character, and the figure wasn't too damaged in the process, so that's a bonus. Next up, we have Captain Han Solo. Although this one again is kind of more of a half custom, really, as I didn't want to do too much damage with this one. So this one is another figure that I got from the convention. And a couple of modifications that were done with this one. For instance, this custom blaster, again, same thing with Leia's blaster. I found it in a bin and had it in storage for a while. I actually used these blasters for my Ren minifigure from Ruby, and I had a whole bunch of extras and knew that if I got a Han Solo figure, it'd be like, that's perfect for it. And sure enough, once I got this guy, I immediately swapped out the blaster that he had and put it in for this one, and it looks way more accurate, so much better. More of half customs that I did was I painted up the suit jacket in the end to kind of blend it in better, as one of the problems with LEGO decals, especially on the knockoff figures that I found, is that certain colors appear much darker on darker base minifigures, especially on this one. I went in and painted up of like where his part of his chest would be, and then like painted up the rest of the shirt because I felt that like the darker tone was completely uneven with the arms and wanted to match it up as best as possible. And then the rest of the customization that I did for the figure is for the legs. These were he actually had different legs with printed on detailing with like this strap, like this belt strap, but wanted to change that up, especially when I got this custom piece. This one was also done by BrickTactical X1078, who made this awesome Han Solo blaster holster. As we can see of like the belt starts from the waist and then goes down here. You can see of like where it connects here. And when I saw this piece, it was just like, I gotta use this one. And it came out really awesome. Like, he did an amazing job of printing this out and making it like as accurate as possible. I did leave this open a little bit so I could still have like some articulation with the leg, like, as well as like I made sure to do some some paint detailing like just in case. The legs though, however, like since this is a knockoff figure, you can see like a little bit of articulation, But since this is a knockoff figure, unfortunately, some of the parts are either not compatible with official LEGO, or worst case scenarios, some of them easily break. They break, which is not always a good thing. So definitely for this guy, one of the primary concerns was making sure of like the whole thing would stay together without anything snapping off. But I made sure to like keep it up, and make sure that everything stayed in place. And then for the expression for Han Solo, it comes in with another one, which is a little weird. I don't understand with this bootleg. So we got this awesome expression, and then like when you look in the back, we get sort of something more similar to Luke. And I don't know why. I don't know why. Me personally, I like this one way more, as it suits so well with Han's sort of like cocky, determined expression that he generally has for pretty much all the movies, and at the same time, like just looks really good, and again, and it suits well. It's well like for the overall figure. Next up on our list is everyone's favorite Wookiee, Chewbacca. Now this figure was actually the main reason why I had to push this showcase back for a little bit. So I was originally just gonna do Luke, Leia, Han, and Darth Vader. But then one of the custom masters that I follow, Venom.7777 and 7, posted on their page that they were making 3D printed Wookiee parts, and I decided to like, you know what? Let's go ahead and try and make him. And I gotta say, they did an amazing job with this. They pretty much did all the work necessary for this guy, like the head, the arms, and the legs. Everything was pretty much already done. All I had to do was sculpt out his ammunition pack on the front, and continue on to the back, and also paint up the detailing for this guy. So first off, what I did with the paintwork is that I did some reference. I looked up some references of both from both like toys as well as like a couple of other customs to see if like some inspiration with them. And I've noticed that a lot of the toys and customs had Chewbacca with two separate browns, like the darker for the base, and then some lighter tones on the face, torso, feet, and wrists. And so I used it as sort of like a starting board to try and put together for this guy. So first up, what I did was for the base detailing, I first did the base on this dark brown as the base coat, and then I watered down some like regular brown paint. I watered it down as best I could, and then painted on, with the wrists and the face and everywhere else, which makes it blend in pretty good. Like much better than I initially thought, especially on the face. I legitimately thought that it was going to be messed up pretty badly. The feet I made sure to leave unpainted and just paint on with black paint, and paint mouth, nose, and eyes painted in black, and then carefully painted on the white pupils, the white dots for Lego eyes. It was a tedious process, as white paint, for some reason, I can't explain why, white paint on Lego does not agree. So it was a bit of a process to do. And then this ammunition pack, it was pretty straightforward, as just taking some appropriate clay and then stretching it as best as possible on here, first on one side, and then repeating it all the way to the other side. At first I thought about maybe trying to stretch it all the way over to like make it connect, but there wouldn't be a way to make sure it was stabilized, because there's not really a lot of room in this area, and I didn't want the clay to accidentally fuse onto the arm. So it was definitely a process of making sure on that everything was straightforward, and then went ahead and just carved in the ammo packs, and then painted up in silver, and came out really good. He normally does carry a crossbow, but honestly, I don't really have enough time, as one of the websites that I usually get like custom crossbows back is they're pushing back a little bit, so I'm gonna have to wait, especially on, I'm trying to get like most of these done as quickly as possible. So if I do get a good crossbow weapon for this guy, I'll post it on like an update pic on my Instagram. And yeah, pretty much like the also biggest challenge of doing this is that the base figure that I used this for was like an old Chewbacca figure that I got from a Millennium Falcon set from, I think it was around when Force Awakens first premiered. And unfortunately, that figure was so old that when I removed the arms, one of them had snapped off completely, and the other one was damaged beyond use, that it was like, oh my god. So definitely And so definitely evidence of how, like, with some of these figures, time is not kind to a lot of them. But thankfully, the torso and the waist connector was intact, and thankfully these arms too, as I've come to find out that sometimes resin-printed arms are not as sturdy as brick arms, as actual Lego brick arms. So thankfully, this whole figure was able to stay intact, and with the final result, it still looks pretty cool. Last and certainly not least on our list is, of course, one of the best supervillains of all time, Darth Vader. This figure actually went through a whole different process. Like, I don't want to say about 3 versions of Darth Vader before settling on for this one. Like, multiple variations of him. First started out as normal minifigure, and then knockoff figure, and then another customized armored figure, and then finally off of this one. Very reminiscent to how I did CW's Flash, but unlike that one, I was actually happier every time of like stepping it up a little bit and trying to make it as fully accurate as possible, and I'm satisfied with the final results for this guy. So the base body of this was made by Morphonaunts, which I've talked about them before when I did the Doomslayer Mark II, and this one is one that I saw that they did an awesome job of really like customizing Darth Vader, and it looks super cool, very cool. The lightsaber hilt, this is actually a lightsaber hilt that I got from BrickTactical, as I had another Darth Vader lightsaber hilt, but unfortunately that one couldn't fit onto the figure's hands. But thankfully I was able to get like this one, and it fits on pretty good, and with the detailing of it, it looks really cool. Really cool. And we can go ahead and move that down. The body of this, like, as I said, was done by Morphonaunts, and he did a phenomenal job at really doing this. I unfortunately am unable to move some of the stuff, especially with the fabric. Once we position the light a little bit, you can see, like, some of the detailing that went into this guy. Like, the whole thing, except for the waist connecting piece, as well as, like, these, this electric tape waist cape that I tried to attach onto him. Didn't go quite well, but at least it stays in place. But pretty much everything about this guy is completely 3D printed, and like, you can also see, like, the detailing on the arms, including the fabric piece underneath the sides. It's also detailed. It's overall just looks really cool. Even the hands, just like the Doom guy, he didn't even have to sculpt in the hands, but the fact that he did is just an awesome milestone with this. And then the cape was actually started out smaller, but then I decided to expand it just a little bit to like try and cover up his shoulders, which I'd say did a pretty okay job. This helmet though, this was actually done by Natesminifigs, as I had managed to get this a little while back, and in my opinion is one of, if not the best Darth Vader helmets. No hate outs to all the other Darth Vader helmets, but I felt that, like, this one is more accurate to the movie depictions, and it looks really cool. Very cool. Like, at first it was just gonna be base black, but then I decided to add in the red eyes. He did later on post on his page of, like, the red eyes, especially in celebration for the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. But at the time I had already finished up the helmet. And was pretty satisfied with it. And it does actually split up into a couple of pieces. So if we remove this, we can see of, like, this knockoff helm and this knockoff head that I initially had gotten for Vader, and the stick piece underneath separates as well. Well, not the full removable 3-piece helmet, but again, it still matches up fully accurate with this guy, and this is probably, like, one of my favorites that I've done, because it looks just so cool. And again, like, Morphonauts did a phenomenal job at designing the body, BrickTactical nailed it with that lightsaber hilt, and Natesminifigs basically killed it with that helmet. Like, again, that is the most accurate movie depiction Darth Vader helmet I have ever seen. And overall, with the final results, aside from this waist piece that I would definitely like to fix, or at least make it to where it doesn't bulge out so much, especially on the right for some reason. Aside from that, I really love this figure, and it just looks so awesome. And that's going to do it for this episode of LEGO Arts. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm not sure if I'll be doing another Star Wars showcase in the future. If I do, it'll most likely just be with more clone troopers, because I really like customizing on those guys. With some of the other stuff that I got going on right now, probably next episode will be a solo figure showcase, as I got one all set up and ready to go. And same progress is still going on with God of War Ragnarok, is that I'm still keeping it up as best I can go, as well as coming up with the display that I have got going on. And then with the Batman family, I started painting up on Batgirl, as I figured out the base coloration that I'm going to use for her, but I'm not sure when it will be done. And same thing with the Batman Arkham suits. So for now, like, I'm trying to keep up with as many showcases as possible with like some of the stuff that I can show you guys. But at the same time, with like some of the bigger showcases that I really want to get put in as much work as possible, I'm keeping it up as my own pace, and trying to make sure that, like, number one, that I don't lose motivation of doing it, and number two, just trying to keep up as best as possible. So overall, I think that's going to do it for now. If you want to check out like some of the custom pieces, this is from Morpho, Venom, Nate, all those guys. I'll include links to all their stuff in the description below, so go check them out, show them some love, because, again, they did phenomenal work on each of these guys. All of them just look really awesome, and I really like the customization that was put into this. And overall, that is going to be it for now. So, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I'll see you guys next time in the next episode. Bye-bye!